At the Nebraska Capitol today, work has come to a halt.
It was a filibuster by State Senator Michaela Cavanaugh. It had to do with two bills which would greatly restrict access to abortion and gender-altering procedures. LB 626 and LB 574 passed through committee last night.
The Omaha lawmaker is angry the bills advanced without any amendments being considered. Cavanaugh says her actions will force senators to decide which pieces of legislation they wish to focus on, which could stall bills on taxes, housing, and Medicare.
There are so many things that we should be doing to help the people of Nebraska. And this body is willfully, knowingly, purposefully ignoring all of that for cable news network clickbait.
Kavanaugh's filibuster stretched on for hours until the end of today's session. It stopped other senators from completing any official business.